Everybody, welcome back to Five Guys on Live. We are here with you. It's a jam-packed week. For anyone who's been with us previously, you know that the one and only CJ is adamant about a 1 hour show. We are in the process of working very hard to give you a 1 hour condensed show. As the elder here and the official whoopee of the crew, I'm going to do my very best to make the Joy Behar happy and give you an hour-long production. We are very fortunate tonight to be joined by political activist, political strategist, and I hope eventual Georgia politician, Kolbey Gardner. Kolbey, welcome to Five Guys on Live in our rotating and ever-revolving fifth seat.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really happy to be here.
We are happy to have you. You know, Dr. Pickett is our Anna Navarro. So, you know, he has the nice Anna Navarro role, and we love him, but we always also like to have in our guest spots. Kolbey, who is your favorite View host who's no longer on The View? Who is your favorite View host that's no longer on The View?
That's a hard one. There were so many great ones, even like back in the day, because I think about, oh my gosh, so many really good ones. That's hard. I can't even do that today. There have been some phenomenal women on that show who have just like really shaped how I view TV. So all of them, I love all of them.
Kolbey, even that answer was politically correct. Even that answer was politically correct and moderated. We are excited to give you a great show. And DeAndre, Dr. Pickett, sir, I love Anna Navarro. Anna Navarro gave us one of the most iconic View moments of 2021 when she let the one and only Van Jones know that he is not for the people. So I shout out to Anna and that great episode of The View. If you missed that View, you need to watch it. Oh my God, that's right. Thank you, Dwayne Carter. Thank you so much. We agree. Meredith Vieira was View royalty. It would be ideal if they could bring Meredith back for a couple of shows. That was one of my favorites. And, you know, there are favorites out there everywhere, guys. And, you know, many of us have a favorite product. And sometimes when our favorite product is not there, we have to go to an alternative. And that's exactly what happened for this young lady. If you do not know, now you know. This is the one and only Tessica Brown. Hopefully you are familiar and you are a little bit aware of Tessica's story. Tessica Brown uses something I think it's called, and we, you know, I see we have a blackout member here. You know, maybe, you know, Darius would know. I think that the product is called Got to Be Glue, or some kind of like hair glue. And so what she was doing with her hair glue, she didn't have it anymore. So she decided to use some Gorilla Glue spray to spray her hair and hold it in place. Yikes is absolutely right. And she thought that this Gorilla Glue, thank you so much, Amber. It's called Got to Be Glue. Got to be glue. What I tell you. I said, if
leave it to Darius to have it, right?
Would know about them edges having to be sprayed and laid, it would be the one and only Darius Williams. So you know what, guys, you cannot do this to Whoopi with these comments so quick, a mess as well as OMG, because I'm feeling the same way, but I'm holding it together very well. I'm trying just to tell you what Tessica did. Tessica Brown sprayed her hair down with Gorilla Glue. And it has been like this for a very long time. She told the story on TikTok. She actually has gone to the hospital, to the emergency room. She's gone to a stylist. She's done a lot of different things to get her hair, to get it out of her hair, and it isn't working. Now she is saying that she is going to possibly sue Gorilla Glue for the decision that she made to adhesive her hair. Gentlemen, I want to know from you, what are your thoughts on Tessica Brown? Does she have an actual valid lawsuit Should Gorilla Glue be held accountable for these actions? What are we saying?
I say this is just, what did you say last season, Zach? When you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. I think that the product that people were more closely correlating it with was Gorilla Snot, which I think is an actual hair something or another. But the label clearly says do not apply to your skin or to your, don't ingest it. It says those things. So I don't know what made her feel like she could take that stuff, put it on her hair, and it would be fine. It's ridiculous. Hey, Amber, how you doing tonight? That's my girl.
I agree with Amber. I feel like she was doing this for clout. This is strictly clout chasing.
And apparently she's a 40-year-old teacher.
Oh, yeah, even more clout chasing.
She's also started a GoFundMe, and I'm just not a fan of starting a GoFundMe for this behavior. It just does not make sense to me.
So what do you mean, you're not? So she's actually started a GoFundMe to raise money. What is she raising money for? Wigs? Because her hair is gone.
I mean, maybe for her pain and suffering, for her experience, but she needs to not do that at all.
People will do a GoFundMe page for anything. It's terrible.
So everyone, we all agree, no one thinks that she has a case against Gorilla Glue.
Absolutely not.
One of my followers earlier who's in law school says that something about some UCC regulations and she could have a case. I think that he may need to find another profession personally, because this looks pretty cut and dry to me.
Well, he's in law school, right?
He's in law school. He's
still learning.
He is still learning.
Right.
So I do want to say this. Candace, you're correct. Yeah, I have done a little bit. I always try my best to be very informed. I did some research before coming on tonight about and yes, Dwayne, those are her real, eyelashes. That's exactly, they're real. Well, no, they're not real.
No,
they're real on her face. Like, she really tried to look like that. That you're right. It is the acetone, but here's the thing. Let me tell you this about the acetone. It is actually a very dangerous and poisonous chemical to put on your actual skin, and that is why the hospitals and the salons won't do it. Nobody else will put that in her hair because acetone is proven to seep into your skin, in your pores, and actually damage your liver. It is known to possibly cause liver cancer, and it definitely can cause other issues inside of your body. So a hospital isn't willing to do it. A stylist also isn't willing to use that to break it apart. And it's going to cause severe chemical burns as well to her skin. So there's a lot of those issues there about it. A lot of issues involved.
I'm just going left with this. Well, eventually won't it end up breaking off on its own? Like, won't it just break off the hair? I don't know.
I mean, that's a good question. So our ladies out there, I mean, what is that going to happen?
Her hair is going to be growing. So as the hair is growing, won't the glue break off? Like, I don't know.
If that stuff can make wood stick to the side of a house and it's supposed to make it stay there, I don't know. CJ. I guess
what's going to happen to the hair that's going to grow? The hair is going to be growing underneath.
If her pores are like,
if it's up, then it's stuck.
So a lot of people are commenting that they think, like Amber said, that this is all a big stunt. The lady is a 40-year-old teacher, but she's also a social media aspiring influencer. She has gone from she has actually gained large numbers of followers and has also now been verified by multiple social media platforms over her Gorilla Glue incident. So no matter what happens, she's going to walk away. She may walk away with no more hair, definitely no more edges, but she's going to walk away with $10,000 in a GoFundMe that people are putting money into, as well as a whole new series of followers.
Congratulations. Happy birthday. Next topic.
Was it worth it?
No.
Okay. And so we are gonna move on. Somebody said, where is she teaching? We need to warn the superintendent. My sister is with us. This is her first time ever joining. Look at her. Her hair on that photograph is laid. It looks like that sometimes. And she's saying that the young lady must have known better. I agree, Jerry. She should have.
I wonder what state this lady's in. Like, what state does she live in?
Do we know? Hold on. I think I have that. This young lady.
I heard it.
She looks like she lives in Atlanta.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
But we will have to research it. We will have to research it.
Hell, she might be. She might be.
Nah, that ain't. Nah, hold on, Candace. That ain't Clayco. Don't call for Clayco, Candace.
They know that it's got to be glue or nothing. Okay, these girls in Atlanta, they hair.
Yeah, my sister, I agree. We don't want her teaching. She cannot teach my nieces, my niece and my nephews. Absolutely cannot teach any of our family. Candy did say, that it's Clay County. We're gonna move forward. Brandon, she does live in Atlanta, correct? She does. I thought that I read that, but again, you read so much. But can someone, if you can, please verify for me to let me know? I really did think that.
What you said she looks like is where she is in Atlanta. So,
but I also we're gonna move on because we have to stick to an hour, or we're gonna incur the wrath of CJ. But I do want to say,
please stop drilling that. Please stop drilling that. Okay, that was a group discussion. Now continue.
You're taking time away from the transition, CJ. Thank you. So what we have, I want to say this. She is not the first person to use Gorilla Glue on their hair. I don't know if you guys knew that. Did you know that? That she is not the first person to use Gorilla Glue. I want to show you evidence of the first person right here. It is not the first time. So as you can see, former President Donald Trump, a notorious traitor, correct. His hair is standing strong in the face of gale force winds from Air Force One, and he is still holding strong. Still holding strong. In addition, gentlemen, this is a week of very salacious news. In addition to the Gorilla Glue incident, we also had another incident that really set Black Twitter and Freak Twitter aflame. And it involved this young man right here. And that's Trey Songz. And he had, I think, some kind of a sexual act filmed and then released.
Well, he has an OnlyFans page.
You said what happened?
He has an OnlyFans page. So
Trey Songz has an OnlyFans page. Have you seen the OnlyFans page?
Nah, but I think Darius has.
We don't know.
Listen, all the pages on Pornhub are free. I would.
So I Googled to find out more about the incident and was unable to see the video. However, I read an article where it said it was alleged that maybe it's not real. But regardless of the fact of it being real or not, this video caused quite a controversy. In addition to the video causing controversy, there was a series of just photographs that were taken by Chloe Bailey of Hallie and Chloe, Hallie X Chloe, whatever her name is. I'm going to look to you to clarify that for me because I really don't know them that well. I don't know them apart from one another either. I don't know which one of these is a Little Mermaid and which one of them is trying to show a Little Mermaid. But whatever the case may be, it was a big deal and it opened up the door about controversy between what male singers in the industry can do compared to females. That he literally had a sexual act filmed and released, and she simply had pictures that her fans considered to be too sexy. Is this really speaking to a double standard?
Well, it wasn't even the pictures that she did. She did the silhouette challenge. No, she did the busted challenge. Mm-hmm. She did the busted challenge, and people were saying she was doing it to get back at Diggy because she was dating Diggy at one point, Diggy Simmons. And people were saying, why would she do this or whatever the case may be? And I think because they're so used to seeing them in this good girl image that when she did that, it was like, okay, why are you doing this? It is a double standard because, Trey Songz and what he did as opposed to what she did. It's two different things. She wasn't doing a sex tape. She did a busted challenge of what everybody was doing. So I don't know why they even gave her the third degree for doing it.
Is this the Little Mermaid? Is she the Little Mermaid?
No, she's not.
Her sister is Ariel for the Little Mermaid. My bad. So this was my thing with presenting this topic to the group was because yes, we see the double standard between what a male can do versus what a female can do, beyond female singers versus male singers. My thing is, we as Black Twitter, social media people, the consumers, we are so quick to judge and want to hold Chloe accountable, want to hold, but don't hold Trey accountable. But who holds Black Twitter accountable in terms of our wrong? Like, who holds social media accountable? How do we sort of acknowledge our wrongdoings and sort of stop that cycle of the misogyny that's happening in just life in general? Because clearly we definitely missed the mark. And I was very proud of the fact that Yahoo actually issued an article and that there was backlash for the misogyny that's happening in our culture today, because had this situation happened even 2-3 years ago, there wouldn't be no backlash. I mean, the game was, doing his Eggplant Thursdays, Chris, like all these other people were doing stuff.
Friday.
And then, whatever it does. I mean, the fact remains, but we want to drag housewives. We want to drag Chloe. We want to drag Cardi. We want to drag Nikki. We want to drag any woman that's being provocative. But then the male is doing it. Then we praising and we liking and following and pursuing and
I mean, but that's been going on for years. It's been going on for years.
So with that being said, first off, again, I was glad that there is some backlash that's happening, that people are actually speaking out on the misogyny. And my proof or question is, do you think that Black Twitter, us, because we are all guilty of it, one way or another, how do we hold each other accountable to prevent this from happening and not have these people get attacked, so on and so forth? That's what I want to throw out to you guys.
I don't think we'll ever be able to prevent it from happening, but when we see something, we can say something. And another thing is that I don't feel like it's going off without being checked. I think that there are a great deal of people who see this as an issue and are speaking out against the misogyny, the slut shaming, and etc. What's more interesting to me is that as of like last week or the week before, Chloe and Halle made separate Instagram accounts. And so Halle has been posting. Well, Halle is in overseas somewhere. Is she filming The Little Mermaid overseas somewhere? I'm not sure what she's doing overseas, but this is their first time being apart from one another. And so to see some of the content that Chloe is saying that she's putting on her TikTok and on her Instagram, and to know that this is something that has been in her phone for a while is very interesting to me. And the other thing that's interesting is that I think we always see this issue with Disney girls trying to transition into adulthood. They always get backlash at first. I think that few people have done it well. Keke Palmer, I feel like, was one of the people who did it well, going from being a child star to now being like sexy and out there. But I feel like Chloe is just gonna have to silence the noise and just do what she does, because at the end of the day, in 3 years, she'll be the same age as Cardi B, and they'll be looking for that from her.
I mean, I think I agree. I think Candace just made a comment below. I think that slut shaming and misogyny is violence. We need to treat it as such and address it with that same level of vigor as though these young ladies were attacked. Keep in mind, I think even when you talk about the Trey Songz incident that happened this past week, I'm a firm believer that if you're an adult and you want to be in control of your image and you want to put that out there, go ahead and do that. You should not be shamed one way or another. I do agree that folks have that First Amendment right to speech, but they don't have the right to violence. And we need to make sure that we're addressing that and treating it as such.
That's a very powerful statement. Candy and I are actually going to talk about this, not this Thursday, but next Thursday. We're going to do a panel about misogyny and the impact that misogyny for generations have had on Black women. And this is a prime example, and it comes all the time. In addition to this example, you have these white pastors in Texas who are now calling and going on a whole entire campaign trying to paint and portray Vice President Kamala Harris as the modern day reborn Jezebel, signature of Satan from Revelation. So it is a bigger issue that we must address in our community, because it opens the door for other communities to attack our women as well. So from there, and again, right, Dr. Woodson agrees that Keke has done a good job. Dr. Carter does not agree with you, Candy. He says that if you don't want to be called a slut, don't present yourself as such. But Dr. Carter, you got to think about this. What defines a slut? Why,
exactly.
There are male sluts, but that's the whole point. Trey Songz did some slut stuff. Trey Songz did some slut stuff, and no one's calling him that. People are Darius.
Well, I mean, it just goes back to like
Darius.
what I said earlier, how like if a woman does it, she's slut shamed, but if a man does it, he's not. Like, so if a woman sleeps around, she's a slut, she's a hoe, she's all above. And if a man does it, then he's okay. He's not looked upon. That's why I said it's been going on for ages.
It's the mindset, it's the mentality.
And if we're going to cancel or attack Chloe for just simply doing a popular TikTok challenge that everybody's doing, then we must certainly hold Trey Songz accountable. And don't forget, Trey Songz is an abusive man. He has beaten women violently and viciously, beaten women publicly.
Well,
so
Keke Palmer has came out actually and said something about being like hidden in a closet because Trey Songz was allegedly, wishing or
pressuring her.
Pressuring her. Yeah.
Pressuring her sexually.
That's correct. And so don't forget that. And I think that Trey Songz got off very easy. There was very little press around it, and it was very little it wasn't recognized. And you're right, Dr. Pickett, it's not just white pastors, it's Black people as well. And that's why I said we had to start in our community to address it, because when we don't address it, other communities join in on these attacks. He did tell us that, and that was on a song. It wasn't his first song, because I'm gonna tell you, I bought Trey Songz's first album when he looked like he was maybe 12 years old with some his braids to the back, when he was really trying to sing instead of trying to croon as much. We have some really great comments here, but we have to move on, or I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to lose my job. And we have to go into our next topic. And this is what also, in addition to the controversy around Chloe and Trey Songz, we have a whole lot happening right now around a second COVID-19 rescue package. Some of you call it a stimulus act. President Joe Biden met in his very first meeting with Senate members, not with fellow Democrats, but with Republicans. He met with the committee of Republicans that included Mitt Romney, that included Susan Collins of Maine, and he wanted to talk to them and try to get bipartisan support for a package. That discussion resulted in two plans being presented. The plan presented by President Biden was a total of $1.9 trillion. I'm going to enlarge this for the sake of the discussion, where he wants to give individual members who make under $75,000, $1,400 in direct payments, $400 in weekly unemployment benefits to those who have lost their jobs due to the pandemic, $70 billion in vaccine testing funds, as well as $165 billion for schools to reopen safely, which he says is a priority during the pandemic in the first 100 days that he's in office. Those same 10 GOP senators went back and came with a counter $600 million or $1 billion plan, which is significantly less than the $1.9 trillion that would give give individuals 1,000 direct payments for members making $50,000 or less, $300 in unemployment, $70 billion to vaccines and testing, and only $20 billion for schools. Gentlemen, what do you think about this? President Biden has said he is open to lowering the income threshold from 75 to 50. Is a lot of mixed responses out there in Twitter and on the internet. I want to know what you think.
Quite frankly, I appreciate Biden coming into this presidency wanting to be, unified, and bipartisanship. I think it definitely matters. But at this point, the Republicans, in my opinion, should not have any say in terms of COVID response, COVID relief, anything. They completely dropped the ball all of 2020. And you just we're living this. So the delay, the how they stifled, how they pigeonholed things, even the fact that we know, because I remember in earlier episodes we talked about how the herd immunity conversation was happening, and everybody was like, nah, herd immunity ain't gonna happen. Did Trump set up there, open his mouth October and November, talk about herd immunity is a possibility? You get what I'm saying? So it's like, and this is basically, that's them owning, like, well, we're okay with some Americans being sacrificial lambs. If you are okay with Americans being sacrificial lambs, your plans and policies, anything COVID related, is irrelevant to me, in all honesty. So I am glad that Biden is pushing forward with giving his plan and approving his plan and just moving on without the GOP, because they completely dropped the ball. They don't need to say nothing. They need to work on bipartisanship, on immigration, and other other pressing things involving the nation. But COVID, they need to shut up and sit down.
Wait, now I thought I heard or seen something that Kamala was the last to go ahead and sign it, to go ahead and get it approved. Or did I hear that wrong?
I mean, she did she split the vote because it was a 50-50. So, she's the deciding factor in terms of the Senate. But again, Biden is just, trying to be unified and open the door and be willing to have the conversation, but keep it.
To give folks just a little bit of backstory and history, when you look at the Obama administration back in 2008, President Obama spent the first 6 months of his administration really trying to work in a bipartisan way with Senate Republicans and House Republicans. A lot of people would argue that he wasted a lot of key time. President Biden has made very clear he's willing to work where we can. But if we have the votes to pass a bill without bipartisan support, we'll go ahead and do that. And I believe that you saw last Friday when Vice President Harris came and passed that vote at 5:14 in the morning, setting the stage for the Democrats to go ahead and pass that $1.9 trillion package. I think that's a key indicator that he is not here to play with the Senate Republicans. Either you want to come to the table and give us your suggestions that make sense, or you can allow us to go ahead and pass this bill. But the American people need help today.
The American people do need help. And so this is the breakdown real quick, CJ. It went to the House, passes the bill, Democrat controlled, Nancy Pelosi. It goes to the Senate, had to be a 50-50 split. Vice President Harris votes, breaks the split. It has to go back down to the House. So what happens is the House plan goes to the Senate. The Senate makes adjustments, amendments, and changes things to the plan. Then the House has to reapprove it. But today, the House sent it back because they said we're not going to change the threshold. President Biden agreed to drop the threshold from 75,000 to 50,000 to appease Republicans and Americans, because there are a lot of Americans who are saying that 75,000 is too high of income. There are a lot of Americans who got up last time and said, well, I make like $60,000 a year, and I didn't need a stimulus, so I just gave my stimulus to my mama, or I gave my stimulus to charity, or I gave my stimulus to the church. I gave it to Jesus. And so that was replayed on Fox News, and all those clips went all around, and so people are happy to cut it. But the House was like, no. Nancy Pelosi and the House Democratic leadership said, we promised the American people this money. Bernie Sanders tweeted, how does it look that Donald Trump gave middle income Americans a stimulus, but Joe Biden isn't going to do it? Because when you make $75,000 a year, you are in the middle class. You are not rich. You are not wealthy. You are not in the 1%, 3%, or the 25%. You need relief. Everybody has bills. Everybody has expenses. You may need to use that stimulus check to pay for your children and get tutoring, or pay for your children to get mental health counseling. There are a number of good ways to spend that money. So I applaud Nancy Pelosi and the House Democrats. I applaud Bernie Sanders and those who were fighting and pushing this. And I want to say shame on President Biden. Let me make myself real big, because it's the first time I have to say shame on Biden. And y'all can't say I'm not holding that old man accountable. My fellow Scorpio. And so shame on President Biden for backing down so soon. We do really support and believe in bipartisanship, but this is not the time and this is not the place. Right now, we need you, old man, to be fighting hard the way Scorpios do. And we need you to fight to the end for the American people who are hurting and suffering the most, who have lost the most under the failed leadership of Donald John Trump.
No, I definitely agree with you. We definitely need to hold President Biden accountable. I will say White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki today said that she and the president, of course, really support the plan. They want to get it passed as easy as possible. But I think what they mentioned is doing a scale up. So whatever plan it will be, very similar to how they did the last plan. If you're making at that 99,000, you get nothing all the way down to the 75,000 below, or you get that full 1,200. I believe we're going to land somewhere in the middle, realistically. And I guess that's just the person in me who has to understand that we also have some moderate Democrats who don't support the current plan either.
That's right.
Yeah, your center.
And here's the thing, you know what? You're right. And so Dwayne Carter, you know what? Guess what? There is absolutely nothing that anyone can do to stop the Republicans from not attacking the Democrats. That's not going to happen. You agree, Kolbey?
Yeah, completely. The Republicans are going to attack, and we need to make sure that we as a caucus, we as a party, can be as united as possible. Understand that we have some more moderate Democrats, and that's a little harder if you're a Democrat in West Virginia, for example.
But who's to say the Republican Party? Who's to say the Republican Party will even exist in 2021, 2022, 2024? Because them Trumplicans done snuck and finessed and maneuvered their butts in there. Mary Tyler Moore Green butt up in there, like all of these crazies and stuff like that. Like, no, the OG Republicans, the McCain Republicans, they gonna have to slide to the left and cultivate their own thing, because the Republican Party is gonna split up in the next 2 years. Now, watch that.
And I welcome it. I'm excited to see it come to pass. And again, you know, Purvis said it's 75,000 equal middle class. It is considered middle class, but I'm going to tell you this: even when you make $75,000 and you have to pay an increased amount in taxes, because I want to say $75,000 begins to either at the bottom of the 25% tax rate raise, or it goes right over to the raise. So you're paying minimum of 25% in taxes to federal, along with what you're paying to state, plus all the deductions that you're putting out. And you're still walking away with maybe $46,000 a year. So again, no matter what, you need the stimulus. Every American does.
I think if you make around 75,000, I think like if it's on paper 75,000 salary, I think you end up coming out like maybe like 67, 68,000 a year. No. It's not $30,000 to take out the taxes on you a year. That's no.
Yes.
No.
CJ, let me tell you, I'm going to be very transparent. I sat down and I looked at the tax. I looked at the tax brackets when you make $75,000, and I went back and reflected and looked at some stuff. I know for a fact that I lost about $30,000 back in them days. I know that for a fact.
And how much did you get back for a refund? You ain't getting all that back.
What did I get back in a refund?
You didn't get all that back when you did your taxes.
Back then, I might have got I always got under 2,000 before I started.
Right, so there's no way that they were taking $30,000 in taxes from you a year. If you would, no, there's no way.
CJ, can we put money on it? Can we bet $50?
Post the tax transcripts. We're trying to see who got the real money on the line.
Can we bet $50? Put your money. I told you last week to put your money where your mouth is. Put it on. We're gonna talk afterwards, because I love to gamble. I love to bet.
I do too, and I bet on things I know that's right. But you're not gonna tell me that if you make $75,000 after taxes after taxes and insurance and 401k that you walk out with $40,000 yearly. That's no. We're gonna have a talk after this, me and you, and I'm gonna give you the receipts from 2011. Yes, so Stanley, yes.
Moving on.
Stanley, yes, people making $75,000 do need help. Yes, I'm not saying that they don't, but what I'm saying is that people that make $75,000 salary after taxes and insurance and 401k and everything, they're not coming out the door with $40,000 yearly. They're not.
Kendra, my name is Zach. Hi. So we have, again, it's some great stuff going on, but we have to move on. My sister says she's not having it, CJ. She says she know how much her brother pays in taxes, because I complain about it.
Of course you're going to roll with the family. He probably pays that.
And she knows that I beg her to give me some money.
That much in taxes because you have other sources of income. But from your primary job, you're not paying $30,000 from one job. No, you're not. Not making those $75,000 a year on paper. No, you're not.
Well, just call me the IRS. Send me all the money.
Moving on, you might be right. You might be accurate. So we will move along.
Right. Hey, CJ, write this day down.
Thing that we're
February 8th, 2021. Zachary said that you might be right at 9:39 p.m.
Okay.
Write it down. Stamp it.
Go ahead.
Sign it off. Send it to Kamala.
It'll be on YouTube when we get done. It's okay.
Yeah, I will. You matter of fact, I will bet $50 on that. How do I know? I will bet 50. I will bet 50.
Oh, he said you got to make money. That
I'm gonna tell you this, and we can be done with that. Many. A few years ago, I was at 80. I'll say it. I was at 80 a few years ago, and I didn't come out walk the door with $50,000 after the year, and got a refund check. So that's how I said I know you're not telling the truth.
Let me hold $4.
Okay, I hope you want to defraud the IRS child because you're locking them people up.
I'm good with the IRS.
Oh, it looks like we lost Zach. Wow.
That's what happened when you lie about paying falsified taxes.
Okay, you never can win when you play dirty.
You never can win.
Yeah. But I think our next topic was about to be Kroger.
Yes, about Kroger shutting down stores across the country.
Because
hold on, not across the country. BCJ, here you go. Not across the country.
So
they're not even everywhere. First of all,
you are correct. Stop. I thought you're right. You're right.
Run me my $50.
You're right. It wasn't. It was based on the total. You're right.
I said you have multiple sources of income. So run me my $50. Run me my $50.
So you ain't getting no $50.
Cash at me my $50.
What I think is funny is that my sister agrees with you, Vince, that you have to write it down.
Oh, no, yes,
often that I'm going to admit such a thing. But
run me my $50. Run me my $50.
I just want to say something. Now, when it's 10:08 and we still on this live, I want y'all to remember this back and forth.
That's fine. I'm just saying, Zach, you need to cash at me my $50.
We didn't bet. And so I'll cash app you the money and then you can go to Kroger.
Zach, you
can upgrade from Wayfield to Kroger.
Okay.
As we topic, this is as we talk about the stimulus, I want to just take a brief moment. I want to talk about businesses who are failing people during the stimulus moment. During this moment, in California, Kroger chose to close 2 stores, let go of 2 entire stores with employees instead of paying the mandated hero pay that their government said they should pay. I want to know what you think about this decision, and I really want to, and this is why I brought this topic to the table, is because Kroger is not the only business failing people. When you think about the 2, we have had 2 COVID-19 stimulus packages passed. In those packages, money was set aside for small businesses so that workers would not lose their jobs. Businesses took the money. The businesses stayed open, never gave employees a dime, put that money in their accounts. Owners are now making more money. Stores have more money, and the workers are still suffering. Gentlemen, what do you think about Kroger?
So for me, this sort of, I guess, hit personally 4 or 5 guys because we had Ryan on the show last season who was a pharmacist. Right. And I remember him sharing his story in regards to how hard all the pharmacists in the local Kroger or wherever he was in Atlanta, Metro Atlanta, were, overworked, underpaid, weren't getting stimulus, or stimulus was like mad delayed during that time. And, they just really felt devalued. So a quote that I pulled from a report, Garcia, who is the Long Beach mayor, the mayor of Long Beach, California, where this situation is happening, and quote, when large corporations make record profits and double their earnings, they need to share that success with those providing the labor, period. The mayor tweeted on Tuesday later, blah, 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 for supporting the $5 hero pay for both grocery and drugstore workers. And I think that the nation just sees that all around, the essential workers. How are we taking care of them? How are we taking care of them? And I know that conversation has now become to the forefront with Biden now in office. But for me, it's comforting to know that on the local level, some politicians are making the effort to make mandates for businesses to assist people that are in need in their local cities or what have you. So for Kroger to just completely close 2 stores and hurting the people that are irrelevant to this, like they're not making the decisions. I feel like that needs to be more conversation between, you know, LA and the Kroger CEO versus trying to negate the umpteen thousand people that would be affected. It's messed up. It's terribly messed up.
I mean, right. It's messed up that they would close down stores because of I think the request is what, $4 more per hour for the
$4 or $5.
$4 or $5. But I do know this, that Kroger over the summer and back in the spring, they came out with like a $130 million thank you benefit program for their associates, which qualified full-time associates for a bonus pay of $400 and part-time associates with a pay of $200. I know they also gave them thank you credits on their Kroger Plus cards, $100 over the summer, and then another $100 in December. So I'm not going to defend their decision to close those stores, but I feel like they have made some efforts internally to address the pandemic. And maybe that is the reason why they are or were so against, I guess, being told or regulated with how they should do it. But I don't think that they've completely failed their associates. I think they've done something that a lot of people haven't.
So, and Dr. Pickett, but here's a question. We don't know how much money Kroger made as an entity in the first place to have that money. They may have gotten enough to give every employee $500 or $1,000. Here's the thing. Remember, we had Joel Osteen getting, $400 million. We had Kanye West getting $4 million. Joel Osteen got $4 million. Kanye got $2 million. We don't know how this money broke down and how it came through. And I think that's kind of what we're talking about, and why. And then, but does this mean we shouldn't have a stimulus, Kolbey?
I mean, so for me, as a small business owner, I can definitely state that those funds were received not necessarily based upon perceived market value, but based upon the income that you brought in 2019, the first part of 2020, the employees that you had on record, being able to take care of them. And that means keeping them on payroll. There are certain thresholds of qualifications that you had to meet. So even to get those funds or to get those funds forgiven, you have to meet a certain threshold, right? So I do believe that our businesses are struggling, and we do need to be able to pay those employees, whether or not you work for Joel Osteen or Kanye West. They have employees that have to eat. So we have to figure out how it is that we take care of those.
Chris says they haven't paid the employees that Kanye hadn't paid.
I mean, I will say if you haven't paid them, that money just won't be forgiven. You still get it, but if you use it for like payroll, you get that money forgiven.
And Dwayne asked where the two Krogers were. There is not. They're Kroger family stores. It's a Ralph's and I think Food for Less. What's the name of it? And they're both in Long Beach, California. But it's two stores.
Yeah, I think it's just an example of where they are hiding behind paying these folks more to close these stores, because I honestly believe that $5 is not going to change your bottom line at the end of the year, for me at least.
Yeah, I have to agree real quick.
Candy said,
with Dwayne Carter, I wonder if Kroger really took any losses during the pandemic, because I remember when March hit and everybody was in their house, all you could go was to the grocery store. When I was going to their Kroger off of Boulder Crest, it looked like we was at a Falcons game. I mean, that was a super spreader event. Everybody was at Kroger. So I know these grocery stores got hell. It was a food shortage. All the Purdue chicken gone. Everybody gone because everybody was buying it. Tissue, Lysol, Windex, everybody gone. So yeah, they got banked. They'll be trying to finesse the system. Follow the money.
So that's a good question, Purvis. To what extent is it a delayed response? Kroger definitely did not take a loss. They probably had a surge in revenue as did Amazon. But let me tell you who else had a surge in income was Publix supermarket. Candy said she wanted to boycott. Kroger, but I'm saying I know I'm boycotting Publix because they gave $3,000 to Trump, huge amount of money to Governor Ron DeSantis in December. And I want to know, Jimmy, what do you think about this? Is there anywhere we can eat?
Publix has good cakes and chicken.
I just be damn. I just had me a pub sub.
Yeah, Publix is good, and they have great customer service.
Be so careful.
But listen, hold on. This is the bigger question to that. Is it Publix as the whole corporation, or was it a specific store owner that gave, because that's always the
I will say that every
everybody-
Publix I've been to, I've got great customer service.
Right, hold on, but everybody
It
creates
was
these
the
long
woman.
lists. Everybody creates these long lists. Don't support Chick-fil-A. Don't support Wendy's. Don't support Checkers. Don't support this, because everybody gave money to Trump. But was it the corporation or was it a specific store? Those things need to be identified so we can boycott those stores. But I know good God darn well that Chick-fil-A off of Camp Creek wasn't giving Trump no money. The Chick-fil-A in Greenboro Mall wasn't giving Trump no money. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like we need to identify that.
And they have great customer service too, by the way.
Didn't it say heiress as in like the daughter of somebody?
Right.
No,
Now
I'm
we're
saying
gonna
heiress of Publix.
Yeah, the heirs of the founder of Publix. Like she's part of the Publix family.
So pretty much every time I swipe my card in Publix, this is ensuring that she and her children, her children's children, her children's children's children, and Lord Jesus.
I will continue to keep going to Publix.
So I get that like corporate boycotting is not.
So you guys go to Publix. I'm not going to be able to go to Publix. In addition to not going to Publix, I'm not going to Chick-fil-A because I don't care if the Chick-fil-A is in Greenbrier. I don't care if the Chick-fil-A is in Glenwood. I don't care if the Chick-fil-A is around the corner by the Walmart on flat shows. They don't like black people or gay people at the top level, and I'm not going to be able to go.
Well, they have black people and gay people that work there.
And you know what? I'm happy they are paying them, but I'm not going to be able to pay them. I'm not going to be able to do it.
And Chick-fil-A, no shade, they pay their people more than any other fast food restaurant. They pay them almost $20 an hour to work there.
And you get a day off.
Every Sunday off. And majority of the holidays.
So I hear your point, but I will say that at what point do we hold our corporations responsible for their activities? At the point that, for example, Chick-fil-A, very specifically, if you're funding political parties over in Africa who are literally targeting LGBT people, as a black LGBT man, I cannot support that.
You say targeting, weren't they like putting
They're
their
a Christian-based company. I mean, what do you? I mean,
Kolbey? They were putting them in conversion camps, weren't they?
Yes, like you're supporting these behaviors. It becomes a point where you have to like draw a line somewhere, and I'm not sure where that line is for a lot of folks. I know what it is for me, and again, I won't shame anybody for making a different decision than I would, but I will say, I will put out there, I'm making that decision based upon your activity. If at the end of the day, if I don't hold you accountable with my dollar, what else can I hold you accountable with?
I tried, man. I even went to Zaxby's today to get me a chicken sandwich to stop. I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying so hard. And it took me 40 minutes to get out of Zaxby's. And that's why I got here late tonight. But I am trying.
well, I had Chick-fil-A last Saturday, so. Yeah.
On the Chick-fil-A, they're going to give it to you fast. It's going to be hot. It's going to be fresh. And it's going to be with a smile.
Facts. You on mute.
You on mute, child.
You on mute.
That means
I had to go get my charger. I left my charger upstairs.
next topic.
Let me say this. You can eat that racist, homophobic chicken every day. You can have it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But as for me and my house, we ain't got no money for it. And Dr. Pickett, you make a good point. I'm not going to Starbucks. You're not going to see me at Starbucks. I'm not Christian Walker having my latte and talking about how much I love Donald Trump. So I don't go there either. And guess where else I don't go? H&M, because they called you a monkey, and they called me a monkey.
Cut it out.
And you won't see me wearing that either. And you won't see me at Publix. And you won't see me at Publix running around picking up magic wings and mogo.
You can find a lot of companies out here that have done something that probably was derogatory towards racism and black people and homophobic slurs and whatever. There's probably tons of companies out here that done it that you don't know nothing about, but you probably still shop there.
Guess what, CJ? You go and buy your Goya beans, you go sleep on your Mr. Pillow, and you eat your Chick-fil-A in bed. I am just telling you what I am going to do, and it's not support them.
Okay,
so we
I don't want a Chick-fil-A sandwich. It's not my thing. I don't do the Chick-fil-A thing.
Zach, you need to just create you a T-shirt with just all the businesses that you are no longer. Because it's a running list.
But you want to support black businesses that give
you guys gonna buy a T-shirt? If I make T-shirt, you gonna buy a T-shirt?
He wants to support black businesses that give you bad customer service. That's what he wants to do.
Vince, It's gonna be
Desert not born. And I will support my black brothers in the struggle so that we can have economic rights.
Did you not forget the incident that we had last summer when we were having a conversation, and sure enough, we went to a damn black-owned restaurant, and what ended up happening? Some foolishness. And they didn't even want to take accountability for the situation. Now, did they? And I recently just had another issue with a black-owned business. Which
Kanye West. Please, we must move on or we're going to go out over an hour, sir. We have to move on, Kanye. And this is a great time to go into our next topic. Here it is. We had last night. We're in the last 10 minutes.
Facts. I'm sorry, that's facts. That Popeyes on Moreland, they get you in and get you out, and they be open late too, by 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. Popeyes on Moreland be lit.
They always go over to Moreland Avenue to get some Popeyes, unless you live over there.
I live on Moreland Avenue, dude. When I
you live over there,
did past tense.
So last night was the Super Bowl. We're in our last 10 minutes, gentlemen. We're winding down the show. We got to talk though about the Super Bowl, gentlemen. I want to know what your thoughts are on the Super Bowl before we go into the real reason we're talking about it, which is. Was the Super Bowl a super spreader event? So before we talk about the super spreader nature of the Super Bowl, did you gentlemen watch this game and what were your thoughts?
I definitely didn't watch it. I'm not a sports person for one, and two, only thing I care about is the national anthem and the halftime show. My girl Jasmine Sullivan killed it. She hit all her notes. I would prefer for her to sing by herself. But, you know, she had someone accompany. I didn't know who the guy was, but nevertheless, I mean, she should have did it by herself. But she did her thing. My girl hit all her notes, and she killed it. Her did her thing. And The Weeknd for his performance. Now, The Weeknd is not an entertainer. When I think of the Super Bowl, I'm thinking of people who gives you performances. I'm thinking of Missy Elliott. I'm thinking of Janet Jackson. I'm thinking of Beyonce, Madonna, like people who are performers. The Weeknd is not a performer. He's an R&B singer. I love The Weeknd, and I think his story and what he was trying to tell and his performance was amazing. However, I think, you know, all the theatrical effects and everything made the show nice, but I could have did without him as far as the halftime show. And I'm sorry. Also, my bad. I had also said that I thought that everyone was filled with like people in the crowd. And I had actually sent it in the group chat, but then kind of find out they were actually like just cardboards of people. And I was like, wait a minute, how the hell are we having a Super Bowl with all these people and we're in a pandemic? But come to find out it was just cardboard people carved out. So
yeah, I think CBS News put out a report saying that it was only about 25,000 people in the stadium, but everything else was filled with cardboard.
That's not too many people.
Hold on. I have to agree with CJ 1000%. Jasmine Sullivan killed her performance. Every time Super Bowl comes around, the Whitney Houston conversation, you know, comes about. Yep. And nobody will ever match Whitney. But I tell you this, if Jasmine Sullivan would have did that national anthem by herself, she would have been a runner-up because I was getting chills. Eric Church, I was talking about Eric Church because you can tell once he did his 15-second guitar intro, he sung everything an octave below Jasmine. He wasn't even about to compete with what Jasmine was going to do. The Weeknd, I'm trying to figure out why Usher wasn't there. Sierra was in the audience. She could have hopped up and did goodies 3 minutes. We would have been satisfied. I do not know. But then I'll tell you this, because I know like a lot of, to your credit, CJ, a lot of like entertainers took a stand against the NFL when, you know, the BLM protests, hit at a high rise or what have you. So I just feel like that entertainer circle is just running thin, and now they're just having to find people to fill in those spots. Like Cardi could have did that, Rihanna could have did that, Taylor Swift could have did that.
Well, Rihanna wasn't going to do it because of the whole Colin Kaepernick issue.
Exactly, and the Colin Kaepernick situation. So I just feel like through the next Super Bowls, unless they change their stance on the NFL, change their stance on some things, they're gonna be nitpicking on who's gonna do these halftime performances.
Yes, Candace, that's definitely a super spreader of the corona flowing around the whole damn stadium.
For the past 3 years, I watched Beyonce's halftime show for the Super Bowl because I mean, who else is there to? I don't want to watch the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion. That's my Super Bowl. So I don't even tune in to see all of that. Like, no, thank you.
So I have issues with everything. Tom Brady is there. I will not be watching. That man supported Donald J. Trump.
Yes.
Pictures, hats, photographs, chummy. No, I'm not doing it. But I did enjoy Jasmine. I
don't particularly like remixes to the national anthem. I think that's why Whitney's rendition has remained timeless, because it was true to the song. But that may just be my.
I agree with you, actually, Zach. And I agree with you, Vince. When you said that, if Jasmine would have did it by herself, she would have been maybe close to Whitney. I love Jasmine. She's one of my top 5 favorite R&B artists, honestly, singers. But there's no one that's gonna top Whitney. I'm sorry.
No, but I said she would have been.
I don't think she would even came close. She wouldn't came close. No.
One thing too is that when Whitney's saying this is a little bit different. Is that when you go back in time to 1991, when Whitney sang the national anthem, this was her everything moment. And it was a huge deal for a Black woman to have this opportunity. And since then, many Black women, she opened the door for many other Black women to have this chance. And I don't think many artists after her have taken this as seriously as she took it. Whitney Houston planned out her entire outfit, from the earrings that were crosses to the all-American jumpsuit. Some people wanted her to wear a 9-to-5, look very, very sexy. Some wanted her to look very formal. Everything about it was planned to the T. And in addition to that, she just has the gift. So I agree, nobody will come close. I have to go on record and say something that I don't think anybody's saying. And that's number one, Jasmine sounded great to do it, but it wasn't anywhere near the first, second, third, fourth, or fifth best national anthem I've ever heard. That's just my opinion. I'm not a trained ear. I'm not a musician. It's just a lay person who can't carry a tune, listening, saying, didn't do it for me. Many people are critiquing the Weeknd Super Bowl performance, and in no way was it a great performance. Absolutely not. But it was creative. I have to give him credit for trying to do something avant-garde outside the box. Did he succeed? No, it wasn't very good, but it was the Weeknd. And for the thing is, it shouldn't have been him in the first place. The Weeknd wasn't ready for that level of a stage and performance, in my opinion. But for it to have been the Weeknd, I think he did the best that he could have done. Let me give you an example, or give you a better explanation. He took the horror film Us, a Black phenomenon, and he transformed it into the Super Bowl. That's what the performance was. So those little demonic wrapped up kids, that was representing us. When he was in the carnival maze, the whole carnival background, all of that represent that film. To me, that was a great effort to highlight his aesthetic, his what he creates as an artist, but still giving honor to the Black film community. And I thought it was well done. I thought that was well done.
Shout out to Jordan Peele.
And now you got Dr. Pickett cussing. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
Cussing at you. You the one that just got done talking.
Exactly. That's the whole point. That's the point. Anna Navarro is on the sidelines ready to go in on poor Whoopi. And Whoopi got the hair out. So I thank you. It was, and then again, no one liked it. No one liked it, but I do firmly believe that it was a good performance.
And the last thing, the message was good at what he was given. I think the message was good.
And so we had a super spreader event in Tampa. Are we going to have a super spreader event in Atlanta? Because we now know that the NBA All-Star Game is coming to our city. Or does it even matter? Because in Atlanta, every day is opening day.
Well,
that's why the title of today's show is when you stay open, you always open. You ain't open.
Corona never existed in Atlanta, and it was just like a figment of people's imagination.
Like, we had the vaccine.
It was never here. It was never here. And I am very upset and disheartened at All-Star Game here. I am.
We already got the vaccine. It's in them hookahs.
The vaccine is in the hookah?
He should know because he's at traffic every time they're smoking the hookah.
You would know also, CJ.
I mean, as a person who has been traveling back and forth between Atlanta and DC for the past 2-3 years, Atlanta has never closed. It was about 3 weeks.
Right.
And I feel like that's super unsafe. They know that all those folks from all over the southeast of the United States are going to be headed to Atlanta that weekend. It's going to be a fool.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
They be here every weekend, but then they go home on Monday and then they post on social media talking shit about Atlanta. So whatever. Go get the vaccine, everybody.
And we don't have them here yet. Low demand.
Oh, I got mine. Oof.
Oh.
Exactly, DeAndre. That sounds like a mayor decision. Ooh, there go Keisha.
And we're going to talk deeper and further about Mayor Bottoms. We don't know to what extent it is, but let's also say we don't know to what extent that the All-Star Weekend will be socially distanced and safe. We'll find out. What won't be safe is all the shenanigans around the weekend.
That might be safe, but all the party promoters and the parties and all that, that's not going to be nothing safe about it. Nothing.
Yeah, you know, and it's funny, because even what happened during the versus battle with Keisha and Ashanti, you know, like on YouTube, they'll like have like upcoming tour dates or whatever. Sometimes, like on Ashanti's page, it showed that she has an upcoming tour. I clicked on it, and the Millennium Tour is coming back March 21st, and she'll be in Atlanta, and that's going to be at State Farm Arena. So I feel like at this point, the entertainment industry is slowly but surely finessing and sliding and reopening, you know, just like everybody else is, and you know, I guess using Atlanta as a catalyst. I don't know if
that arena is gonna be filled with nothing but corona germs.
Yeah, but yeah, I think we just get into that point. Everybody trying to get their bag back.
At what cost, though?
Hey,
we will not know who going to win, but I think you gentlemen are very, very accurate. Might as well be ATL. They're going to get a bag, but they're going to leave behind a disease or 2 or 3. And I don't think that is worth it for the city. And again, guess what? Entertainers are going broke. Not my problem, because I'm trying to live. I want my friends to live. I want my city to be safe.
You can bring me Tim for all this and why we're open the way we are.
It's a problem.
And you know what, to R. Wayne Woodson's point, there was a lot, clearly me being an entertainer and having a lot of friends in the industry, a lot of them were, of course, you know, saddened and disappointed by the Super Spreader Super Bowl event and the weekend having so many dancers and performers alongside of him. But then it was still like, well, wow, at least they getting the check, at least they getting paid, because, you know, my tour got canceled, stuff like that. So they did sort of in that way, you know. The entertainment industry just got evaporated. Hell, I was on tour myself, you know, so these people really ain't making no money.
That's why I say we're all blessed that we don't have to choose between working or going without food and without a stimulus and without everything else that you need in order to make a living. So I'm not going to judge anyone who works in the entertainment industry who's trying to make sure that they can eat every day.
Here's the thing, though, Darius and Vince. I mean, here's the sad fact. The people that control the flow of income in the industry, they got their money. They received their PP loans. They got their money. They just didn't give it to the workers who make their shows happen. They didn't give it to the entertainers. They didn't give it to the musicians. They didn't give it to the sound setup. They didn't give it to the people. And that's what's messed up about all of this. They got their money. The government provided for them, way more for them than they provided for us. And that is the heartbreaking, sad part of it. Again, I don't care about the entertainers making their money. I just don't want it to be in my city that's putting my life and the life of the people that I love at risk every single day. And again, it's a really good point that was made about, and Chris said, they need to figure out different ways of doing things. Think about Disney Plus that really went hard and launched during the pandemic. And think about Hamilton Live and how much money they made and how many subscribers they have and how much they were able to generate from taking a business model and then flipping it. Look also at HBO Max. If Wonder Woman 84 wouldn't have launched on HBO Max, a lot of people wouldn't have gotten it. But look how many people did subscribe and are sticking with their subscription. People in the entertainment world have to be agile, and they have to find a way to pivot in this new moment to make them own work. But the problem is you don't have to be creative. You don't have to pivot when nothing closes down. We are handicapping ourselves and causing a pandemic to go on and on and on. And here's the scary part. We finally get a vaccine after 9 months of torture and living hell, only to now have a variety of variants come out. Had the United States stopped travel with England earlier, we may not have had so many cases of the UK variant in America. Had we been vigilant about people having had traveled to Brazil and South Africa, we may not have had the South African variant and the Brazilian variant present. But now we not only have the the Brazilian and the UK variant, but now we have this very resistant, deadlier South African strand here that's spreading with unchecked and unmonitored. We have failed at the COVID-19 response on every single corner, and we're still failing. It is a chance that we're going to get a variant soon that will be non-responsive to the vaccine. And all the work that we've done, all those sacrifices that we've made will have been for.
What work have we done here?
What do you mean, CJ?
All the work that we've done will go away when this new variant comes. The variant is already here, 1, 2. And what work has the state of Georgia done?
No, I'm talking about the individuals who have quarantined,
who
have worn their masks, who have sacrificed income and opportunity. We have worked hard to stay safe and to keep our neighbors and loved ones safe. And so it's sad. And right, like Dwayne said, I just got Disney for Hamilton. So think about that. So again, we've got to do our part because we're independent contractors. Don't feel the need to pay them. You're right, but they should be paid. And yes, R.A. Woods and I have done a lot to stay safe and to keep those I love safe. And again, truth, but this day and age, you don't even need a contract anymore. It is a good time this is a time to grow, change, and adjust. Here's an example, right? Like before my family can even come to my house for Christmas, and I don't celebrate big birthdays. I'm not a big birthday with my family. I don't do Mother's Day and Father's Day and made up holidays. If it ain't from Jesus the Lord, I'm not celebrating. I celebrate Easter. I celebrate Christmas. I celebrate the Lord. And Christmas is a big deal. But before my own mama could come into my house, my family had to be tested for COVID-19. And I got tested 3 times before they came to my house. And then I got tested twice after they left my house. That's the type of sacrifices that people are making and people made. Some people didn't see their families at all for Christmas. Some people have loved ones in nursing homes they haven't seen in over a year because of this pandemic. That's work. That's a sacrifice. We've done a lot. There are people who have done their part. Our government has not done its part. And when they offer Atlanta up for things like the freaking NBA All-Star game, they are saying our lives are expendable to the economy. And Chris told me to go to bed. I will be going to bed much later. I have a whole lot of work to get done. With that being said, it's a wonderful show. Thank you, everybody, for joining.
I don't know. Tonight.
I don't know if you're saying that.
You said what happened, Darius?
You didn't ask me what I was drinking tonight.
Yeah, what is that? Is that my favorite Pinot Noir?
I didn't care what you was drinking.
This is a red blend by the McBride sisters. It's a black-owned wine company. So check them out. They are at Target on the wine aisle. I went to Kroger's and Kroger's didn't have none, so don't look for it at Kroger.
Hold on, real quick, Zach. I'm sorry. Just a small pushback to what you said. Like I feel like, I mean, of course, yeah, they are making our lives expendable or what have you, but whenever Atlanta comes up in the topic of COVID, people immediately get rejoicing and glee in their eyes because Atlanta has been open and we've been taking advantage of that. So just as much as people have been doing their part, quote unquote, of staying on the sideline and quarantining, there is the same amount of people who give zero F's about it that have been just taking advantage of where we are. And I feel like businesses and the economy see that either we are oblivious, gullible, don't give a flip about it, and gonna support whatever is happening. If I catch it, I catch it. If I don't know, whatever your mentality is. But I just think we have to recognize and call a thing just as much as people, just as you have been very adamant and affirmed about how you are quarantining. There have been people that have taken advantage of the situation and been including myself, traveling, taking my ass out, eating, doing this, doing that, clubbing, and that's the reality of the situation. So if we gonna call it, we gonna call it. We can't be upset about one thing, but then everybody taking their asses out in the next 2 hours, being a part of the issue, including myself. Ooh.
No. I mean, Vince said it. Vince made a very valid statement. But not everybody in this cast is out there doing what you're doing.
Ooh.
I'm about to cash app you for that word. Preach, Vince. Everybody agrees.
Come on.
I mean, people do agree.
Why you
And
cash app?
that's
You need to
fine. But
pay
again, I don't want to take away from those people who have done the right thing and who have made real sacrifices. Like Stanley said, he hasn't seen his family in a whole year. Like, it was a really tough thing for me to even allow my family to come. And, it was inconvenient for them to go through what I put them through. They didn't want to take extra tests. Who wants to go through that? Like, I feel fine, but that's what we have to do to be responsible and to be safe. But again, I know that it's a mixed bag. Some people are doing it, some people aren't doing it. But everybody is now done with this broadcast. Everyone, thank you for joining us. We will catch you next week. I will see you soon.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.